lady sits in front of me, right? Just directly opposite me. I was HR head for that organization. So I was interviewing her. When she sat down, sat in front of me, she was wearing a very short skirt and there was absolutely nothing under the skirt.
Oh.
Absolutely nothing. So I looked at her and, I saw it and I looked straight into her eyes and I asked her, why are you doing this? What's the point? And she said to me that everywhere she had gone for interview, whoever was interviewing her had asked for sex before giving her the job, which she turned down. So she had lost a lot of opportunities because she did not budge. So when she got the invite for my interview, she went and researched me. Okay, young man, yeah, not a bad guy. Let me give him before he asks. That's how terrible things have become. And I said to her, look, this is not going to happen. I'll pretend we did not meet today. Because there's nothing you said to me, I will have bias against you. So go home, let's meet another time when you're appropriately dressed and we can have a conversation.
Hey there, this is Bumi Alesh.
The Dawn.
And this is Urban Life Africa again. I have my friends here, Femi Ononuga.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time you might be watching this. Welcome again to another interesting episode of Urban Life Africa. We're happy to have you here again. My name is Femi Ononuga, management consultant.
And I remain Titi Kuti, here in my corporate attire, ready to dive into Femi's world.
Hey, I like that.
All right, so
what are we talking about today?
Well, we're in your world.
In my world?
Yes.
Okay, so play the ball.
So we had a discussion over the weekend, and we were talking about, of course, urban life and how it affects us professionally and emotionally. So somebody was trying to merge it. Okay, so I'm a banker. I don't want Oshogbo branch. I want them to move into Lagos branch. Forgetting that Lagos has its pros and cons too, right? So we're trying to delve into sexual harassment as against sexual abuse. One is pre, one is post. I want to believe so. All right. And then we're also trying to look into how much provision you have in the penal code and the criminal code of this country to not just curtail the excesses, but to basically mitigate against it. What do you think, since you're the expert on this?
Okay, so I think it's nice to clearly differentiate between abuse and harassment. They are two different words. Although most people tend to use them interchangeably, right? So most offices may not really understand the difference, hence it's difficult to punish where employees err. So all harassments are a form of abuse, but not all abuse are a form of harassment. In fact, we can say that harassment can be subsumed in abuse. So abuse is a bigger word that covers harassment, that covers bullying, that covers threats. So it's basically a misuse of power. Abuse is a misuse of power in the workplace.
Sorry, somebody said harassment is verbal, abuse is physical. Does that make sense?
Not necessarily. Not necessarily. So harassment mostly speaks to certain issues around, it could be your age, it could be your sex, it could be your race, it could be your religion. It could be things like passing wrong comments. Okay, so let's say you have someone on the plus side, all right, and someone says in the workplace, says, look, why are you fat? So you've body shamed the person. Okay, so that's a form of harassment,
body shaming,
right? But when I use my power to say I'm manager, you have to sleep with me before I give you that juicy post, or before I promote you, or that's abuse of power. So abuse can be along the lines of sexual, can be along the lines of emotional, can be along the lines of psychological. All right? So they use interchangeably. So you started by introducing the penal code. That's after the fact. That's when those issues have happened. every organization should have its own policies and procedures that guide how you operate in the business. And interestingly, most businesses now have discrimination policies, right? You're not allowed to discriminate against anyone on the basis of religion, race, or whatever it is. It's about the competence. You've defined the competencies required for the job. Can this person do the job, yes or no? But by the time you start to stereotype, well, I don't like the way Titi has dreads, right? I decide to discriminate against you because of how you look, not necessarily because of you being able to do the job or not. Then I've abused my power. In that case, I've abused you.
So would you consider that as sexual abuse?
No, that's not sexual abuse.
That's what I'm saying.
That's sexual abuse.
For me, I'm coming from the angle of, okay, so penal code is for the northern part. I'm not a lawyer, but of course, we all have a bit of knowledge about these legal terms. So if they say penal code covers the north and criminal code covers the south, right? So, of course, I want to believe that penal code is centered around the lifestyle of the northerners because there's a root cause, of course, religion. So if you say there's enough provision for harassment and abuse, how do you now define those so-called pedophiles that are marrying a 5-year-old girl child?
Okay, so
is there a provision in
so
the
we're
law?
going outside of the scope. Okay. We're limiting it to work. A 5-year-old person cannot work in Nigeria. Okay. So let's limit it. Okay. And every policy of the organization draws its strength from the Constitution. Okay. The penal code, criminal code are all embedded in the Constitution of the country. Yeah. Okay. So I'm not a lawyer, so I'm not going to go into those technicalities. But what I know for a fact is every policy that any company runs draws its strength from the Constitution as amended, 1999 Constitution as amended. That's what it is, and legislated by the National Assembly. So, whatever policy that you put in place in your place of work has to sit within the Constitution of the country. So, if you're saying things like, "I cannot employ you because you are Igbo," for example, that's discriminatory. The Constitution guarantees me freedom of association, right? Which means I can go anywhere and feel unthreatened. I can feel among in anywhere. So by the time you say, and this, look, on paper, these things are written down, but in reality, right, there's a subtle way businesses moderate this. For some roles, they'll tell you, we only want a male. In the real sense, they want a male, but they cannot put it out in the advert to say only males should apply because you would have contravened the Constitution of the country. Okay, and that will make you unattractive to any prospective employee or even other stakeholders. But there are ways where businesses you just find out that you've applied for it and they'll find a very stylish way to say you didn't get the job. But they won't come out to tell you, we're not giving you the job because you are male or because you're female. But in the design of the job, the business has designed the job to require a male candidate for the role, whatever it is that they've defined the job as. So those are subtle ways of discriminating against people, but it doesn't make it right.
Okay, so I'm pushing all these questions to you because, by the way, Femi is the convener of Workplace Reimagine, and it's also a very podcast you guys should follow, please. And is an expert in that line, and that's why I'm pushing this.
Yeah, that's fine.
To you. I want to believe that sexual harassment and abuse has gone beyond what we saw before this. And that's why I was trying to touch on the legal part of it. So you've created a provision that should fight against this. But I'm saying that provision is not enough because of the shift of harassment now. Harassment has gone beyond Oga to the lady, because if you think of sexual harassment now, you're always thinking of one man harassing one lady.
A younger
it's
woman.
Gone beyond that. There is harassment from the lady boss to even the guys.
Absolutely.
Now.
Absolutely.
Don't forget that there are harassment between man to man. I don't want to start there. There's also harassment from lady to lady. I don't know if you call them agege, I don't know, but of course you know what I mean. So as an expert, what do you do to balance this? Because you don't want to also restrict these people. I'm touching.
No,
gender.
I get you.
So you don't want to restrict them from the workplace. They are delivering. They are professionals, and they're just wired that way. I'm not supporting anything, but I'm saying if I'm wired to be this, there's high tendency that I can also harass people that I'm looking for, my praise, right?
And vice versa, and people can also discriminate against you because of how you are,
right,
you're designed.
Yeah. So I've even seen, there are even stages to harassment. Why do you guys don't treat all the stages? I mean, for instance, I'm a businessman, of course, I have staffs, and I've had cases where some of my staff will say, okay, so I had an interview some time ago, about 3 or 4 years. I was looking for an EA. And this lady, right from the interview day, she was telling me, sir, don't worry, I'm going to take care of you. All right? I didn't find out funny. And I told her, you know what? We are here to just work. Just get the job done. He said, but don't worry. You're a fine man. This is interview. Right? And you won't see me as a boss to come out and say somebody's harassing me. Right? So if I am a manager in a structured environment.
Anyway, yeah.
Right. And one of my subordinates is doing all of this. What right or how do I convince you as a HR expert that you know what? This person is harassing me?
Okay. Very good question. Unfortunately, harassment is one thing, either in the place of work or outside of place of work, is one thing that is difficult to prove. Sometimes. It's difficult to prove because it happens spontaneously, so you cannot take records. And what you cannot prove cannot be punished or rewarded. So most people walk into these traps unprepared and unable to get evidences, right? But there are ways around it. Let me share a personal experience that happened to me, real life. One of those times when I worked in one of these institutions, a lady sits in front of me, right? Just directly opposite me. I was HR head for that organization. So I was interviewing her. When she sat down, sat in front of me, she was wearing a very short skirt and there was absolutely nothing under the skirt.
Oh.
Absolutely nothing. So I looked at her and, I saw it and I looked straight into her eyes and I asked her, why are you doing this? What's the point? And she said to me that everywhere she had gone for interview, whoever was interviewing her had asked for sex before giving her the job, which she turned down. So she had lost a lot of opportunities because she did not budge. So when she got the invite for my interview, she went and researched me. Okay, young man, yeah, not a bad guy. Let me give him before he asks. That's how terrible things have become. And I said to her, look, this is not going to happen. I'll pretend we did not meet today. Because there's nothing you said to me, I will have bias against you. So go home, let's meet another time when you're appropriately dressed and we can have a conversation. When she came back, I had 3 other people on the panel with me. So I didn't want to take chances. Real life story. Now, so it stems from the leadership. What you condone is inflamed. It gets what's it called? Grows. What you condone grows. It starts from the leadership. If the person at the helm of affairs is doing something similar to that, then you have no moral grounds to tell the people who work with you not to do it. It becomes pervasive in the business. But if the stance of the leadership is very strong against, when you have zero tolerance for it, and you make examples out of people, then the signal is very strong. Now, there are policies. Every organization has policies that they follow through. Whether they follow through with the policies or not is another issue. But every organization should have a policy to run. A real life example that happened again in one of the banks that I'd worked. There was a very senior person, very, very senior person in the organization, very senior, who was constantly harassing a female staff. So she reached out to HR and said, look, I'm going through it. What should I do? So I said to her, take records. I said before that most people walk into it unprepared, so they're able to take records. They can't record. Not now that things are a bit easier to use smartphones to record and record voices, even take pictures. People can have smart glasses where you can record things. All of those things were not very common then. I said to her, the guy was so stupid to the point that he sends texts to this lady.
Wow.
Meet me in room so and so, otherwise threats, serious threats.
Okay.
So
real abuse.
Oh yeah, that was established. So what businesses also do is to establish a whistleblowing framework.
Okay. So Femi, I really like this.
Yes.
But we're talking from the space of a structured environment. And when we say workplace, most workplaces are not structured.
Yeah.
So,
most SMEs, yeah.
So no, I'm not even coming from SMEs. We have a superstar here, Titi Kuti,
I've been saving my notes.
Tiger, right? Of course, you guys sometimes on sets, you have beautiful girls.
I hear it's very common in your space.
And all of guys.
I was coming
and
to
then
that.
You have production managers trying to say, you know what, if you don't give this, you can't get this.
Yeah.
How do you guys navigate? Of course, you're a very handsome guy.
From a film perspective,
I'm sure some sort of harassment will not be new to you. What's your take?
So I've been saving my notes from what you say, and basically you hit the nail on the head. When you talk about workplace, there's a variety of workplaces that certain standards transcend across. I'm in the film business, and film is very high energy, very high contact. You know, yeah. Sometimes involves physical contact.
Correct.
Because it's film. It's believability.
Make believe.
Believability is make believe is we you can say make believe from the outside.
Yeah.
As an audience, but as a practitioner, as a professional, or as a method actor, as the case may be, it's not make believe.
So you guys truly kiss.
It is real for the moment
That's happening.
that the camera is rolling. It is real. So I'll break it down in 3 phases. From the perspective of executive to talent looking for opportunities, it's rampant. And there's a line that people have tend to blur. I believe, I'm not encouraging it, but the truth is, when something is consensual and there is intent from both parties, it's not harassment anymore.
Correct.
It doesn't mean it's appropriate for the workplace.
Yes.
But you have a lot of times that the both parties involved,
Titi,
they know the game that they are on.
Titi, I was going there. Because sometimes I even want to okay, so
you want to break the table.
You want me to kiss Genevieve? And production manager says, stop. Oga, I want her to harass me. I'm just saying.
We know you have a
so you have a beautiful lady that you're paying me with already, but Baba looks at this girl not bad though. I'm not kissing. One production manager is not saying cut. Oga, I will not cut. You see, in that case, you will not call it harassment.
It actually, in that case,
if they say stop and you don't
it's
stop,
even consensual.
In that case,
if they say stop,
harassment.
if they say stop and you don't stop,
in
it's
that
harassment.
case, it can be termed as harassment.
Okay, so
you know why?
So sorry, production manager said, "Oga, stop." Right? For my party, I don't want to stop, Abi. The receiver is not even stopping too. How do you define that? Already, there should be some sort of no or so. This person is even accepting.
So that buttresses my initial point, which is inappropriate behaviors can be consensual, and it doesn't necessarily mean that they can be bracketed as sexual harassment. The minute it's not the production manager that says stop, on set is either the director or the assistant director that calls the shot. So when the director or AD says cut, professionally, you are required
to stop
immediately.
But if you go past that point,
because what you're doing is not for your personal pleasure. It is for the viewing audience. And you don't know why the director is telling you to stop. It may be that the angle is not what they want. It may be that the intensity required to carry that scene is not
enough.
reflecting.
Yes, okay.
It may be
or
that,
too much,
or is over. So one way or the other, you are not the person that controls the output of the picture.
Correct.
Your job as an actor is to deliver with methods.
Correct.
So to what you're saying, the minute, if you like, be fantasizing about Genevieve or be dreaming every day about her.
You're wasting your time.
The minute the director says
Stop. We have to stop.
Cut. However, it is not strange, or it is not something that is unheard or unseen for actors who have been in certain kinds of scenes together or certain roles together
to develop
a relationship afterwards.
Yeah.
The key word here is afterwards. When you guys are done with filming, you guys can go do whatever frolicking you want to do.
I think it
already.
happened with what's her name? Sorry, after Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Oh yeah.
What's his name now?
Angelina Jolie and
Brad Pitt.
Brad
Pitt.
Yeah.
So the thing is, it's important for, if you're going to be doing a romantic scene with somebody, man or woman, it's important for you to build some level of relationship with that person. That person needs to be, especially if you're going to have things like kissing scenes and stuff. That rapport has to be there, even offset.
For it to be real.
Yes.
Okay.
Now I want to make an example now. There was this series I did called Flossom.
Okay.
It was I'm not going to mention it, but it was an original series for one of the big television giants in Africa. And it was myself and Sharon Oja. I was the cantankerous boyfriend that had a history with her that, we would fight every day and we couldn't do without. And as at the time I got the script, it's one of the scripts I took on that very, I won't say short notice, but usually I always give myself time to, but I took it under like a month. And I was going to arrive in Nigeria a day before the shooting starts.
Wow.
And I didn't realize until I was airborne already.
Who you were going to pair with?
No, I already knew who she was, but that our very first scene was a kissing scene, makeup scene.
Really?
So what saved us was that we have been chatting about the characters with ourselves also. We've been talking on the phone. We have been building fantasies about the characters. I had become Bojushi, I had become Ivie. So when I landed, she immediately moved her room next to my room. There was literally, if you see us on set, you literally would think these people really have an ongoing chemistry.
I can't act.
But we did it for the film. And that very first scene, there is no way we'll have pulled us. That scene eventually became one of the teasers for the entire film. What I shot on day one. But because it will be impossible for you to arrive on set on that same day without any. What the naked eyes cannot see, the camera would see. And whatever the camera sees, the audience would see. So if you know that you cannot push that far, you have an option to turn the roll down. But if you are going to do it, you should know the methods that are required. That doesn't mean that for some reason, if myself and Sharon Oja now decide after the shoot to have catch on, that's personal business.
Titi,
but that doesn't always happen as a thing.
Titi, please, you're still not touching on the harassment. What I mean by harassing is you are in charge of the production.
Yeah.
Right? You have prospective ladies that should take a particular role. And there's one of them that you are sort of interested in.
Yes.
As a director or as an actor?
As a director.
As an executive.
As whoever is in charge, right?
Okay.
And you're telling this lady, I want you before I can give you this role.
I think it's very rampant. I'm not even going to lie. I think
not just the film industry, everywhere.
I think it's very rampant.
Everywhere.
Yes, it's more projected in the film industry because we are in the
face of the public.
Yeah, but it's also the same way it exists in the corporate space.
Everywhere.
You have an ED in the back
everywhere
that is telling a marketer that before I can promote you to senior marketer,
or before I can even employ you, it's crazy.
This is what I want.
It's crazy.
So that's harassment, no doubt about it.
So I like that. I like the fact that it's very rampant. Of course, here in Urban Life Africa, of course, we always like to look at things like this and find a way to at least mitigate against it. Yeah. What do you think we can do? Because there are so many guys there that are looking up to you guys.
Yeah.
Looking up to the likes of Femi in the structured environment, looking up to a businessman in Alaba that has control over everything.
Yeah.
I'm a businessman, I'm selling TV, then blah, 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 blah. And I have over 30 staff. And I'm the HR, I'm the accountant, I have control. I can tell you, you know what, I will not employ you if I don't sleep with you.
Of course.
Right? And because of that, these people sometimes will lose the job, just like what you've just said. So what do we do?
It's a two-sided coin. Okay. I'll speak for my industry.
For industry, yeah, good.
And then I'm sure, we can always find ways that they are similar in other industries across fulfillment. It's a two-sided coin. Just the same way you have executives or directors that are this cantankerous opinion that they feel like it's an entitlement. They feel like they hold the key to your opportunities. So based on that, they will use. You also have a lot of talents. Well, not like I'm trying to cast shade on women per se, but it's more common among the female actors because they are the ones who have the appeal to achieve it with what they have. It's very rare for you to find a male actor that is trying to seduce an executive that is a woman.
Are you saying a guy has not been harassed?
No, guys have been harassed. That's what. So
by who?
In terms of ratio.
In ratio, we're talking about ratio here. But for the women, most times they have made up their mind that sometimes instead of working on talent and growing through the ranks, that is the shortcut.
They want the shortcut.
Work on yourself, look banging, and go and charm the EP.
What do you mean by EP?
Executive producer.
All right, then.
Or the director. Go and charm him, and so it's a two-sided coin. Then also you have the directors that are also of this. So the ratio of which of it is more rampant, I cannot say specifically. If it is the talents that are pushing themselves forward, trying to use that as a leveler to step, or if it is the executives that do it more, I can't really say the ratio, but it's a two-sided coin, and the solution varies for both of them. On the side of the talent, as far as I'm concerned, if your talent does not speak for you, you're not an actor yet. If your talent does not speak for you, if your talent speaks for you, any opportunity that passes you by, there is another one waiting in front for you.
A bigger one, perhaps.
Yeah, because your talent will speak.
Correct.
Sometimes if your talent is so bold, these EPs or that want to try and do that, even when you turn them down, they still will not be able to replace you because they realize that your talent is speaking.
Absolutely.
So if you work on talent, it might be a longer route. It might take you time. You might not be able to accelerate at the pace you want because those things, you not have those advantages of being EP's babe, but it will eventually come. So if you work on talent, that is your solution as as an executive. If you understand that the minute you start to have those ideologies, you're already compromising on the standard of output.
Correct.
Because it doesn't mean the person you're hiring is not good, but because of your particular interest, if the person is not the best person for the job, you will be willing to make those compromises. So once you have that in your mind, like in the long run, the output of what I'm going to deliver to the public, the audience that are actually paying premium to consume this content,
absolutely,
could be compromised or jeopardized. It becomes a thing of, you can actually give a person a role, and when the job is done, go and toast her outside.
Absolutely.
Go and toast her. When the job is done, you go and, do whatever you want to do. But for the purpose of that job, you have to prioritize your outputs.
Correct.
So those are the
very spot on.
Have you been harassed before? Whether by your subordinates or by your boss?
EP.
So I don't know if I appropriately want to use the term harassment, or maybe I can tone it down a little bit.
Okay.
To inappropriate advances. Yes, it's happened.
Yeah. That's harassment.
That has been leveraged on opportunities. It's happened. And I think basically it was just the way I handled it, or I was able to navigate it, that made it not be so dramatic, even though those opportunities went. But it didn't, because some people, usually people that have an harassment tendency, are very sore losers. They are terrible at losing. No matter how calm,
very true,
or how soft you try to say the no, the fact that it is a no and they're not getting what they want,
they want
to take a pound of flesh one way or the other. So definitely I've had instances like that, but I didn't take it bitterly. as much as I knew those opportunities, at those very moments could have been transformatory. But personally, I've always been somebody that believes in building for the long haul. You know, I've been in the industry for much longer than people can imagine. Yeah, I eventually became popular because of King of West, but if you know the places I've been and the people I've been through, you will know that definitely I've had opportunities that have come way before. And sometimes these were the reasons why those things, just because I was like, look, how many do you want to go through like that? And our industry, you know, there is a lot of chatterboxing, not being disrespectful to my colleagues, and there really isn't much secret. Even you haven't done anything, people are already saying all sorts of things. So for that reason, personally, so I've had my fair share. Let's put it like that.
Okay, fair enough.
But by the way, I've never told you this ever. You're such an amazing actor. Trust me.
Thank you, sir.
You are. I saw you. I'm like, oh, this is my guy. This is my guy. Nice.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Okay, so let me take this back to the experts. Femi.
Yeah.
Because you are very exposed to issues like this, have you experienced man-to-man harassment and assault, and then lady-to-lady harassment and assault? Have you experienced?
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
so how rampant is that?
Okay,
in
so
the corporate world.
So it's emerging. Those things never used to be. So what we've always used to have been male-female relationships, right? But times are changing. So we're beginning to have people who are of a particular sexual orientation, all right? And you can't discriminate against them. It's their right to be. So there was a particular case where some guy who's of a particular sexual, lineage or whatever it is you want to call it, gets attracted to someone else who's like that as well in the workplace, right? And the younger guy, the younger of the two, was not really interested in that older guy because he or she has his own relationship. Okay, so he didn't want to, play along. But it was obvious that they were both of the same family bracket, right? So he wanted to, it got so bad that at every meeting, so the signs, so we also need to look out for the signs, right? If you have a manager where there's a high turnover of staff, you have a manager where the staffs are always burning out, you have a staff where the people don't talk at meetings, okay, where they fall sick all the time. There are always signs which HR people and supervisors have to take note of. So unfortunately, these two guys were working in the same team. I noticed that when the younger one joined the business, he was quite lively, bubbly kind of guy. All of a sudden, he went very cold. So I started engaging him. Like, what's the problem? Enjoying it. I think he had only been with us about a year or thereabout. What's the issue? Are you enjoying it? It took him time to trust me enough to open up to me. And I said it's about leadership. If you make examples of those kind of people within the policy of the business, it sends the right signal to the business that it should be a zero tolerance to such things. So I always tell them, document these evidences because it's hard to prove sometimes. All right, he didn't touch you. He said he called you names. There was no record. So it becomes your word against his word. All right? And we can only take decisions based on evidences that we find. So I said, look, document things. Life is easier now. It's easier to get someone nipped now because there are different devices that you can use to. So my advice is, first of all, make sure you are excellent at your job. A lot of people are vulnerable because even the job you've employed them to do, they're not excellent at it. Okay, so if you're not excellent at it, it gives a room for anyone to
want to take advantage
and manipulate you. But if you're an excellent talent, right, like you rightly mentioned, what's important to you is the output of your work, right? It doesn't matter if I like you or I don't like you. If you're giving me your A game, I don't care. There's nothing I can do about you. And if I eventually do anything about you, it becomes obvious that you victimized me. So first is to be A at your game. Be top of the game in every way. Be faultless. 2, keep records of those kind of things. keep records, keep very cogent records that people, because when you go for disciplinary committees, when you summon people to disciplinary stuff, you need to have evidence. You can't come and say, he abused my father. Where? How? Because the guy will obviously deny. And in this case, he's your superior. And where he would sit to discuss the matter, you may not be there to defend yourself. So what you need are very cogent evidences against him. And the head of the business must also be very firm to take decisions that are very prompt. Have investigations conducted randomly. Staff audit.
What about, what if the head of the decision is actually one of them, the one harassing?
Then it becomes a problem. It becomes a very difficult racket to break. All right? But in these times and age now where you will trend very easily with the kind of Gen Zs that's one of the things I love about the Gen Zs. You will trend very easily for the wrongest of reasons. And you don't want to destroy the equity that your business has built in terms of brand because of one thing or the other. So, I was speaking about the case of the very senior person in banking. The MD of the bank has zero tolerance for nonsense. This person was a GM in the bank. We sacked him. I sacked him. And it was obvious that we sacked him for these reasons. So we made, a very big news out of it. So that sends a very good signal to everybody that, look, it doesn't matter who you are. Yeah. You'll be gone. So I'm not saying it has stopped it from happening, but people got more creative about it.
Yeah.
All right. So we also set up a whistleblowing framework to say, when things like this happen, report it. And then the internal audit, internal control will investigate it independently. And if you're found culpable, you'll be punished.
So my question is this. So I understand, of course, you have blowers. The manager is the one whistleblowing now. So I'm the manager, right? And I have all these young Gen Z girls working with me, and I feel harassed and embarrassed. How do you, and abused? How do you handle that?
Then you're not fit to be a manager, first of all. You're not
in
just
charge. Following.
No. If my subordinates are harassing me, I'll put them in place right away. I'll give you the right member. I'll put you right where you belong, unless you also are interested in it. If you're not, you don't come to my office dressed that way. There are people that do it. You don't come exposing your body when you're coming to my office. Yeah. So look, it's about the standard that you set for yourself. It's easier to deal with when is the senior that is being harassed. But when it's junior that's being harassed, because you don't want to talk. These guys are more powerful than you, either in the office or outside of the office. You are afraid of all of those things. That's what we say. And that's why, it's a lot of work for the owner of the business, for the head of the business, and for the HR people. Because why do you think that legal statute that you have? No, that legal statute, the lady is blind, right? So as HR person, you have to be blind. You have to be impartial. Just saying, you have to be impartial. No matter whose alt is God. Whoever offends, so long as I bring out the policy and says you have contravened this, so I need to be able to establish it. I sit on DC almost every other day. I mean, for my clients, I sit on DCs. And once you find culpable, you're gone. There's no stories about it.
Absolutely.
As we send the right signal, if you keep sending the right signal to the business, two things will happen. People will adjust or they get out. But you don't want to lose business because we operate in very competitive and global markets now. You're competing with companies in the abroad, in the wherever it is. You can't be doing this kind of nonsense. And you're competing for the same talent because they will leave you. So why would I be happy that I've lost a good talent because some funny manager is harassing the person? I'll kick the manager out. I'll kick you out. So those are part of the things that we also need to check at the point of coming in. Check background histories of these people. There's always a sign. These guys don't come into the office and start to behave the way they do. They will be showing the signs, which you need to pick at the point where you are engaging with the person, informal, information about the person, formal information about the person. Just dig as much as you can, and it helps you make a decision. So when those things start to manifest, okay, I saw it coming. And as HR people, you also need to prepare for it and insulate your people. Empower them with what they can and they cannot do. I have a situation where a manager will tell people who are working with, a female manager will say, you have to come to my house to wash my clothes.
Wow.
And if you don't, you're in trouble in the office.
Well, that's an harassment.
Absolutely. But we didn't know all of those things. Things that you just must be very vigilant as a supervisor and HR person. You have to be very vigilant. When you have, it's like parenting. You have a child that's usually bubbly. All of a sudden, the child starts to go cold. Guy, what's going on? Is something happening to you? So you need to get close to those people. So you have to be very close with your people so you can notice these things as they happen. And I tried investigating what's going on here, and they started telling me they have to also get to the point where they can trust you. If they cannot trust you, they can't open up to you. Because they say, if I could tell HR, you could do anything. What's the point? And they catch to suffer in silence until they're tired and they leave. But you don't want to be losing good talents. The bad guys can go. If I'm happy for you to go. But for the good guys, I'll protect you as much as possible. So you must also be, as a Caesar's wife, you must be above board. Because you, as the moderator, as the arbitrator, you can't be found wanting doing those kind of things. Otherwise, you won't have a moral ground to stand on. Because if they know that HR itself is part of them, who do you report to? So you must be above board. It's a lot. That's why I believe leadership or managerial positions shouldn't be for everybody. People don't get prepared for those roles. Some people, let me just round up with this. Some people are promoted out of their competence level.
Okay.
And I've seen this happen every time. And I tell businesses, the fact that you're performing technically, you're delivering on your technical expectations doesn't mean that you're fit to be a manager of men. Because when you start to manage people, it's a different kettle of fish and a different skill set entirely. Some managers are under pressure because they've not even finished managing themselves. Now you're giving them two people to manage. That puts them under pressure. So every slightest of things, they are bust. That's a form of harassment as well. They start calling names. Not because he's a bad person, but because the business also has not prepared him for the job ahead. Because at the point where you start to manage other people, which means your work has to find expression through those people, not through you directly anymore. So if you have not prepared me, yes, I've always delivered on my numbers. Let's say banking, for example, marketing. You're always hitting your numbers. They give you target of 10 billion, you bring 20 billion, it doesn't make you ready for the next level. You can get bonuses and all of those things. So if I need to promote you based on your performance, based on your quantitative performance, so your performance management should be both quantitative and qualitative. So quantitative is, yes, you can do the technical things, but the qualitative is the soft skills. If you don't have it, you don't have it. So businesses need to intentionally, that's why there's something called career development plan. You've planned out the guide to say, from this point, do 1, 2, 3 things, you move to this next level, right? So there's a part the guy has to play, there's a part the business also has to play. But most of the time, the business fail people. You promote them beyond their area of competence, and it will always show. Because at that level, it requires a certain level of emotional intelligence, a level of stability, emotionally, psychologically, and all that. So if I'm not ready for it, I will lash at people. As a leader, you would learn to take pressure. I mean, I've worked with bosses where, shout out to, I've worked with...
Just go ahead, do it.
Francisca Pablo Amaran, bless you. I mean, she would take heat from the top. They will bash her badly. She'll come back, because I was very close to her, and I'm still very close to her till tomorrow. She comes down, because I was very close to her, I can see that, they finished my organ. She comes in, goes into her office, locks herself up, takes whatever she needs to do, calm down, and she now calls you out, and she dishes your own part to you small. Right? I've also worked with someone, as the person is coming from the top, from the gates.
Finishing everybody.
Aggression.
No filter.
Everybody.
No filter. If you straight bullet to just catch you like that. So so there are different types of people. So in that case, it's harassment. But is she intentionally doing it? No, maybe not. So there are different dimensions to it. So the point I'm making is people should be prepared for the role that you give them.
Absolutely.
Businesses must intentionally get people ready for the role that you're pushing them to do.
Absolutely.
So harassment, it could be something simple as just calling out names.
I remember that we mentioned Genevieve, right?
You are Genevieve again.
By the way, shout out to Genevieve. We love you.
Genevieve, please comment on this. Please comment for this guy.
Your craft, and we all love you.
That's true.
Right.
She's not acting anymore.
Yeah. Why? What happened?
What did you do to her?
Nobody did nothing to her. Now she transitioned.
Anyways,
true.
We just
to bigger things.
We miss you. Anyway, so sexual harassment and abuse is such a very sensitive topic that we've touched, but I also feel that we should the regulatory, whoever is in charge of it, should constantly review what the law says. Because if you have a provision that guides it now, it has to be constantly reviewed, because there are general societal paradigm shifts, and it happens every single day.
Yeah.
Please, you can comment.
Yeah, on the regulation side, right? It's when it gets to the point of litigation. That's when these laws can apply. The best that any business can do is to probably terminate your appointment.
No. So you're thinking about
But should it end
business?
Yes.
So me, I'm looking at it from just a woman business. If I have it in my score that the law says that if you do this is going to happen, there's a tendency that I will manage it.
I agree, but there's also something called just being human.
A lot of people are not.
The person that is wicked knows that he's being wicked.
Yeah,
he knows.
Yeah, but
so I don't need the law. Yes, the law should moderate my behavior. The essence of the law is to moderate our behavior, pretty much. But there's also conscience that also should moderate your dealings.
I mean, you're talking about
I agree.
Conscience.
No, I agree with you. I'm saying that people will still know the law. Okay, so look, that's another dimension to it. They say go to court. What do you want to do? He has all the money to spend. He has all the lawyers. He has all the police on his fingertips. He has all the area boys. So what do you want to do?
I'm 100% sure that if you have a legal expert here, they are going to give you an insight into what law says. Because if the law says that if you harass or abuse, you are liable to so years in prison or pay a particular fine. So that prison or fine can also be amended and say, you know what, you're not even paying fine again. It's straight to prison. So those are the things we can, by the time you start reviewing the constitution, you will know that
that's National Assembly. That's not lawyer.
And that's why we're saying it here.
So your argument
is in charge of it should go.
So your argument is there should be stiffer penalty.
Absolutely.
But again, some people have also been accused wrongly. Let's be careful as well.
So you can prove that in the court of law.
So it is difficult to prove. You come back to my point. It is difficult to prove. Some people have been lied against. Maybe because I don't like that guy. Maybe he's too strict. I just want to mess him up. I lie against him.
Do you have facts?
But you'll have smeared the guy's name.
Don't forget that abuse has to be physical.
You'll have smeared the guy's name.
Anyways, this is Urban Life Africa again. And of course, the Fortnite show, you always enjoy us. We are having fun, but we're touching salient issues and issues that are affecting the urban centers. And we want whoever is in charge of those issues should just take charge. And please help us.
Take charge.
No, well, yes, take charge. But my approach is always let charity begin from home. Let's, as individuals, make up our mind to do the right things. It starts with us. Because we form the society. Yes, the guy that you want to report to in the police is a human being, is your brother, is your friend, is your uncle, is your blah, blah, blah. So let's just make up our mind to be good human beings. Truly.
We'll try.
Let's do our part. You do your part, you do your part, everybody does their part.
But sorry, on the right hand note, when are you giving me a role now?
When are you giving me a role?
Sponsor is.
I don't want just any.
Let him sponsor a movie. Let him sponsor a movie.
I don't want just any.
When you can
sponsor a movie.
Condition 2, when I have Genevieve, so that you can act with Genevieve.
Bam. And that will be very pricey. Just give me Waka Pass. Make I don't do Waka Pass, I'll be fine. But let me just shoot.
You just say, Alex, you are here again.
In the film, you'll be Genevieve's toy boy.
Toy boy.
Genevieve.
She'll finish your life.
I'm sure you'll be looking. Who are these nonsense people? Anyway.
All right.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Urban Life Africa. Ciao.